My dear court networkers, it's an incredible 40 years since it all began, and what a wonderful journey it's been. Court Network was designed, as you know, to provide support and assistance, care and concern for people who were appearing before the court. Nothing to do with the legal issues, but to do with the procedural issues, to do with things that will make their pathway more comfortable and more known. It was designed to have volunteers from the community. And the reason for that was that many of the people appearing before the court feel very alienated. So you represent, when you offer them support and care, the fact that the community is concerned about their welfare, that they are very much integral parts of the community. And as you explain to them the proceedings and all the other issues that they need to know, they can understand in a very person-to-person way because you do it with a gentle concern. It couldn't have happened without you. Court Network started, as you know, in 1980, and there were 8 volunteers. And now, good heavens, there are over 500. Volunteers from the community have come to care for their neighbours, their friends, people that they've just met in the court. And you do it through outreach. Outreach is a wonderful way of contacting with people who didn't know that our service was available. I know that referrals come into the office, and that's great. But for people who feel very alone, very frightened, very confused, for you to walk up to them and offer them a service of care and support makes a world of difference. So I thank you for that very, very sincerely. You also act as educators. And I guess the idea was it would be a two-way education process. The volunteers, the court networkers, would explain to you and make the passage through the court more understandable. And then you, through your discussions and through the court hearing itself, the volunteers would gain an understanding of the difficulties that you've been experiencing. And then when you go home, bound, of course, by very strict codes of confidentiality, volunteers can tell their families, friends, neighbours, the actual facts of a case. Media coverage tends to be exaggerated or oversimplified. So the community doesn't really know what goes on in the courts. So if you can educate the court user by explaining processes and assisting them, and then educate the public, you're doing it a two-way service. I hope you enjoy that side of it, because I think it's a very important offering for the community. The idea of a network of volunteers supporting people in the community progressed from a dream, I suppose, to an obsession. But the reality is the service that you provide, the over 100 of you moving through the courts every day to provide support and assistance, is an extraordinary service to the community. It took 7 years from 1973 to persuade lawyers, politicians, bureaucrats that the service was not only appropriate, but it should be available inside court buildings. They now understand, because of the service that you provide, that that was a more than reasonable, it was an appropriate suggestion, and I guess its time had come. That was the dream. You are the reality. In the annual report of 2017-18, it records a service to over 125,000 people. And if you think about that and think through the years, you have assisted hundreds of thousands of people appearing before the courts in Melbourne and, of course, throughout Victoria and now in Queensland. That is a magnificent record. It's a record you should be so proud of, because I can assure you I am. Governments of both persuasions now understand and support Court Network. It is now an organisation. It had pretty struggling beginnings, but now it is an organisation of great strength and purpose. Under the excellent leadership of Marcia and the board, and Maya and her remarkable staff, you have made an enormous contribution to the community. Through you, we have travelled from a relatively small magistrates' court across all jurisdictions. It's a remarkable achievement to be able to assist people in the magistrates' court, the children's court, the coroner's court, county supreme, and also at VCAT. You've made the pathway smooth and you've made it understandable. It's an enormous achievement. Now, in this, our 40th year, we should take note of a saying that the past is a statement, the future is a question. It's up to you to answer that question. Each one of you working in the courts, you can take it forward, being led, being trained by a superb administration. It's up to you. The future is in your hands. I truly honour each and every one of you for all you have done, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.